Welcome to Sunshine Cathedral's Queer God Squad. It's Thursday, April 25th, 2024. I am Reverend Dr. Darrell Watkins, the Senior Minister here at Sunshine Cathedral.
I am Reverend Dr. Robert Griffin, the Executive Minister. Faith and religion can be complicated for the LGBTQ+ community. Surveys show that evangelical faith is the justification for the greatest attacks on the LGBTQ+ community.
I am Reverend Kevin Tisdall, the Minister of Education. The Queer God Squad is going to explore our religious community. Let's explore the big news of the day and what it means to you.
This is live, and then we're available on demand. We're available on all smart televisions and your favorite social media. At Sunshine Cathedral, we are here to tell you that you are God's miracle, not God's mistake.
This is the Sunshine Cathedral perspective. Queer God Squad. What do I do when I start to go to church and feel worse? Church can be an uplifting experience for many, but there are communities of faith that are not supportive. In a recent post online, a woman and her husband, who were previously atheists, converted to Christianity and began attending church. They complained that many in the church seemed friendly on the surface, but they then are condescending when it comes to the husband's tattoos, lack of knowledge of prayers or traditions, and lack of a past going to church. After church, they frequently are made to feel that they aren't, quote unquote, perfect enough to be, again, quote, good Christians. For queer and LGBTQ plus members of a traditional church report that while they may be loyal to God, it is hard to be loyal to church when so many speak badly and treat their attendants so poorly. What do we all do when we attend church and we feel worse about the community and about around us and about our faith? First thing you do is you stop going to that particular facility. It may call itself a church, but I just wonder. But the nuts and bolts are that many people are turned off by Christianity because of the Christians that are in that church. They don't really practice that commandment that says love. Love everybody, no matter who they are, no matter where they come from, and accept that this family, this husband and wife, are doing something different for them. They are looking at a different way of approaching their spirituality, their faith. So if you are in a community that is turning you off, that is walking away from you, that is treating you less than equal, you're in the wrong place. Simply put. And you don't need to necessarily be in a faith-based organization in order to find God, however you define God. You can be in a book club where you discuss something wonderful that someone else wrote. You could be at the supermarket where you run into someone who you get into a conversation with and you find a little bit of spirituality in the love that they're sharing with you. I think my bottom line is if you are in a place that is not loving all of you, that doesn't understand that you are making a new commitment, then you're in the wrong place. And I welcome you to come to Sunshine Cathedral every Sunday at 10:30 on every piece of social media that you can find. Sunshine Cathedral will always be the place that you can go to where you find a positive message about God's community, however you define God's community. I often, when I'm talking to people, don't even say God. I say the universe has embraced you and allows you to be yourself. So find that community that says to you, every part of you, every single ounce of you, every piece of stardust that you are, is accepted just as you are.
There really isn't Christianity. There are Christianities. And that's the way it's always been. The Jesus movement became Jesus movements. The Jesus movements then added that were Christ cults. And then around the 4th century, we had this institution. In the early 4th century, an emperor hitched the imperial wagon to Christianity, and then the next one that followed him, Constantine, in the middle of the century, put it on steroids. Mm-hmm. And so Constantine's mother was a Christian, and although he really threw his weight behind it, he himself did not have a baptism until his deathbed. He didn't really join until the end. But in any case, we've always had it. Then in about the year 1000, the Western and Eastern rites split from each other. And then about 500 years after that, the Protestant Reformation, and so on. So there isn't Christianity. There are Christianities, and that's the way it's always been. And so if you have found a place that's Christian but isn't kind, well, there are Christianities like that.
Yeah.
But there are Christianities that are focused differently. So some churches are going to be focused on love, others on legalism. You have to make a choice which one you want to go to. Some churches are focused on relationships, and some are focused on regulations. You have to figure out which one you want to go to.
Yeah.
Some are focused on peace, and some are focused on power. You have to figure out which one you want to go to. Some are focused on the journey, and some are focused on judgment. You got to figure out which one you want to go to. There are many Christianities. And so if you don't like the package, the way this one is packaged, guess what? There are so many more. And there's other religious traditions too. There are Judaisms, there are Buddhisms, because they're all very diverse. And so I'm a person of faith, so my bias is, yeah, try to find a community of faith, but not one that's mean.
Yeah, come on.
Not one that's hateful, not one that doesn't appreciate you for who you are. So yeah, if you aren't embraced for who you are, if you aren't loved entirely as you are, then that may not be the Christianity you're looking for. It's certainly not the one I would be looking for, and it's not the one we try to offer. So if you found the shaming one, the finger wagging one, the wrist slapping one, or even just the hypocritical one, like, they'll smile in your face, but then walk away from you and ignore you, and maybe say unkind things about you when your back is turned. Jesus said, the assholes you will always have with you. Well, he said the poor, but that's a poor ass way to be, is to be just mean to people because they're different. So don't give up. There are other places. It may be a humanist organization, an ethical society. But find a community, a supportive community. And if it's not that one, well, it's not the only game in town, I promise.
Yeah.
Only thing I can add to that would be simply state, don't own that worst feeling that they're trying to put off on you either. There are too many other places you can be because they have to own their stuff. You own your agency, claim your agency, and you move to a place that gives you what you need, because there are too many out there and too much out there to feel stuck where you are, or you feel like there's not another place to go. There's lots out there.
I just want to add a little bit extra. My husband and I, when we got back to church in the mid-90s, we went to a church that wasn't perfect, but we saw something in there that we liked. We liked the message. The people in there were a little cold and withdrawn. And we decided to take a little bit time to get to know them and to let them know us. And what we discovered was that they were coming from a fear-based mentality, and it was difficult to walk them away from it. And we were able to finally start breaking the ice with them and helping them to change their perspective. So we came in unchurched for a very long time and wound up becoming leaders in that particular facility because they needed someone to help them move forward. And once they started moving forward, they started developing a better way of dealing with people. It was never a position of love that they didn't lack. It was a position of fear that they needed to break from. And I challenge sometimes people to look beyond the fear that's being expressed and see if there is something within that faith-based organization, that book club, whatever that you're a part of, that you can help grow yourself. That's just a thought.
Well, that's today with the Queer God Squad. We want to thank you for joining us. We're here daily at 3 p.m. to have some fun and discuss what our LGBTQ plus community is talking about.
Sunshine Cathedral is the world's largest progressive queer church. Progressive, queer, and God are words that naturally should go together. And we are all in this together. Remember that.
You are God's miracle, not God's mistake.
Until next time, we are the Queer God Squad. Goodbye.